Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to another TechBits session on assistive technology. I'm going to share my screen and we'll begin the PowerPoint presentation. Today's PowerPoint presentation is going to cover the Google Docs speech-to-text voice typing option. And so the reason I felt that this was important to cover is because we have a lot of students in the educational setting, both secondary and post-secondary, who could utilize this service by speaking instead of typing, which can help resolve a lot of spelling challenges that some students might have. Keep in mind that when using this feature, users still have to be cognizant of the punctuation that goes along with completing complete sentences and writing paragraphs and so forth. And so this session is by myself, Keith Maes, and I'm a contractor here with the NEREC. Let's go ahead and begin and jump right into it. So Google Voice Typing, also known as speech to text, that's transcribing your speech and your voice into written text, or in this case would be typed text. With Google Docs, using the keyboard isn't your only option to add text. You can also just talk and have Google Docs transcribe the words for you. You can use this feature to transcribe meetings and audio recordings, or simply when you want to write faster than you can type. Once again, this feature can be used to take notes, but also can be used for students to put together proper and formal reports and so forth. Next slide, how to use Google Voice Typing. So first and foremost, type with your voice. As part of the feature, you want to, number one, check that your microphone works. Very, very important. Number two, open a document in Google Docs with the Chrome browser. Number three, click Tools and select the voice typing option. Number four, when you're ready to speak, click the microphone. I feel number four is very critical and important because oftentimes we don't think about what we want to say before we say it. A lot of people might just blurb things out. At this point, when you're using the Google Voice typing option, you want to really thoroughly think about what you're going to say. And if it requires punctuation, you want to make sure you add that in there. And lastly, number five, speak clearly at a normal volume and pace. And that's important because the transcription option within Google Voice Typing, it's transcribing your voice the best it can. So you want to speak clearly and at a pace that is not fast enough so the computer can't pick it up. So moving forward, steps to using Google Voice Typing. Turn on your microphone. To use the voice typing or voice commands, your computer microphone needs to be on and working. Devices and microphones vary, so check your computer manual for instructions. Microphone settings are typically in the system preferences on a Mac or the control panel on a PC. So I just want to reiterate that once more. The system preferences for the microphone for a Mac are typically found in the system preferences area, and also for a PC, they can be found in the control panel. Moving forward, steps to using Google Voice Typing continued. So step two, use voice typing. So number one, a little bit more in depth, check that your microphone works. Open a document in Google Docs with the Chrome browser, click Tools and Voice Typing, and then a microphone box appears. When you're ready to speak, click the microphone. Ensure that you speak clearly at a normal volume and pace, and see below for more information on using punctuation. When you're done, click the microphone again. That's a critical piece there when using the voice typing option. If you decide you want to ramble on like most of us do when we're presenting and giving public speeches, at some point we miss things. And to ensure that we don't add that gibberish and run on into the recorded session or transcribed area, we ensure that we turn the microphone off. So once you're done using the microphone and saying what you have to say, click the microphone again, which will turn it off. Moving forward in the steps of using Google Voice, step 3, in-depth using voice commands. After you start voice typing, you can use commands to edit and format your document. For example, select paragraph, italics, or go to the end of the line. For example, the following commands below when selecting text. To select text, say these commands. Select the specific word, select all matching text, select list item, and select list items at a current level. And please be in mind, folks, if you're planning on using Google Voice Typing, learning commands will take some time and lots of practice. This is not something that you should be able to do upon the first use. Upon the continued repetition of the Google Voice Typing option and a little bit more research for yourself as to what specific commands are utilized, you can go ahead and command your computer by your voice. And this is a good option that Google has built into their system. And it's really great for users that need a little bit of hands-free use on the computer. So moving on to this next slide. And now I really want to show you guys how the application works. So I'm going to stop sharing this. And I want to share with you the Google Doc where we can utilize the voice typing. So this is a Google Doc. All I went ahead into the area of the Gmail apps, and I went ahead and chose the Google Docs option. At this point, I can go to Tools, as I mentioned in the directions, and I can come in again and hit voice typing. As you see, the microphone pops up. It is ready for use. And so I just want to keep in mind that once we use the microphone and we're ready to say what we have to say, we can click it. Today, I am utilizing this feature to give a TechBits presentation to fellow educators in the state of New Mexico, period. New line. As you can tell at that point, I wrote a complete sentence using my voice and my speech, and the computer dictated and transcribed my speech into this complete sentence. As you noticed, I had to use punctuation in the form of a comma and a period. At the point where I needed a new line or new paragraph, I stated and I gave the computer a command of a new line. At this time, I can now begin another sentence. I'll go ahead and show that for you one more time. Click on when I'm ready to speak. Previously, I was able to dictate and transcribe the sentence above using my voice, period. Users of a Mac or PC will set up their options for speech-to-text voice typing in either the system preferences or the control panel, period. And then I turn the microphone off once more. And so this feature of assistive technology, as I mentioned, is beneficial for students of all ages that are having to write papers. Maybe they have a specific learning disability and are challenged with formulating sentences, finding the right words for specific papers, and maybe even grammar and punctuation. This can also be revisited as Google Docs are saved to the drive. At that point, an individual can get support to edit the document to the final draft. And so I just wanted to demonstrate this to you folks because it can be a very helpful tool if you know how to use it. And like I mentioned before, it's going to take repetition and continued use to ensure that you can use this on a daily basis. So I'm going to stop sharing and get back to the presentation. So now we're back to the presentation, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the troubleshooting option. As we know, when we utilize technology, at times we may have to troubleshoot it. Sometimes it works when we need it, sometimes it works when we need it the most. And so to ensure that the system is operating and functioning to its proper ability, if the microphone is not working, do the following. Make sure that the microphone isn't broken. That's number one. I know it sounds a little vague. However, if your microphone isn't working and there's a malfunction with the wiring, well, then you're not going to be able to dictate anything because microphone isn't working. Number two, check your microphone settings in your computer system preferences. And this can be found in the system preferences, whether if you're a Mac user or a PC user. But at that time, you should be able to check if your microphone is built in and reading your voice, and it'll allow you to set that up in the voice preferences area. Check that your microphone is plugged in and is not being used by another application. That's a big one. We oftentimes will open multiple tabs. We don't know what we're getting into. It might be videos playing, or there might be some background noise that is being picked up by the mic. So just ensure that you're in a quiet room. That leads me to my next point, move to a quiet room. Using a tool like Google Voice Typing, it's very sensitive and it's meant to pick up every small thing that it hears. And then also, lastly, with some troubleshooting is to restart your computer and begin the process all over again. And those are some troubleshooting supports if you're having that challenge when using the Google Voice speaking option. Lastly, I just wanted to provide you with some references. This reference is a link that'll lead you exactly to the setup options for Google Voice Typing, along with additional troubleshooting concerns and supports. And so I want to leave you all today with this information and give you guys the opportunity to go out and practice using Google Voice Typing. I know some folks are already using this option, and I just wanted to put it out there for, like I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, for any students or adults that have those learning challenges or struggle with writing, being able to write by speaking has become a great solution for myself and a lot of students that I work with. And I think that students should utilize this option should there be some challenges in the classroom. And so I just want to thank you for your time, and thank you for another TechBits session here at the NEREC4 and MTAP lab on the campus of New Mexico Highlands University. It was a pleasure, and thank you for your time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.